brothers and sisters.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Going to be reading chapter 4 of
The Language of Creation.
Language of Creation, written by
Matthew Passion.
Matthew Pasha.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Bam.
The name of the chapter is Reconstructing the Language of Creation.
You know?
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Here we go. Rediscovering the biblical perspective will be the equivalent of learning an entirely new language, because all concepts will need to be redefined according to the spiritual worldview. Here we have a little image. Heaven, H-E, earth.
Boom.
Heaven's on top, of course. Earth is the footstool.
Simple.
Most importantly, the words heaven and earth, as quoted in the verse above, can no longer refer to what we now call heaven and earth from our scientific viewpoint. The third planet from the sun and its atmosphere. Instead, the archaic concept of earth refers to the lower material half of the entire universe, and the archaic concept of heaven refers to the upper spiritual half. In general, a complete redefinition of cosmic categories like heaven, earth, time, and space will be needed. The implications of these concepts will then trickle down to every level of human experience to redefine all things in the context of the Bible. To simulate an immersion into the archaic perspective of Genesis. Dude, I don't know how you read with him, Bernie. Visual, I love it though. Visual aids will always accompany the text of this commentary. These diagrams will emulate the preconscious conditioning that time and space imposes on the human mind. Here we have some more images.
Boom.
This is a side view right here on the left. Heaven on top, earth on the bottom, aka spatial axis on top, time cycle going. Oh wait, no, heaven on earth, heaven on top, earth on bottom, spatial axis going up and down. The spatial axis is what weaves in between.
I think it goes in every direction.
Yes, and time cycle is what goes around. That's like the constant. Yeah.
Cycles.
And here we have just kind of like the blueprint kind of looking thing. The space,
That's the top view.
Space, time,
Yeah,
the top
yeah.
view. There we go. All right.
You know what I started thinking of? This looks like, you know how it says in the scriptures the earth is on 4 pillars?
Yeah.
The 4 corners of the earth, if you will.
Yeah.
So those are like, we can see that, the 4 corners.
On the flat earth, correct?
And see, again, that doesn't matter.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
Because
Are you flat earth?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's a triangle, upside down
the
triangle.
thing is, it doesn't matter because the point is about our perspective. It doesn't matter
Right.
what the truth is. From our perspective, sure, the earth looks flat and the sun revolves around us.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? So the point we're trying to get through is not the scientific fact. That doesn't the purpose.
There's a deeper, In parallel, another didactic tool, single quotation marks, which we'll let you know when they happen, will be used to highlight.
Action sucks.
Will be used to highlight the
that on camera.
distinction. All right, these guys will be used to highlight the distinction between current concepts and their ancient counterparts in the Bible. For example, I loved how they explained this. If we could get that camera.
All right. Go ahead.
For example,
Start over.
In the following
your little
quotation,
feet.
oh my gosh,
All right, come on.
God prepared a
This
great.
is the best part. This is the best part.
This is the best part. I
All
don't know
right.
why they're messing around.
I know. I'm just so excited.
God prepared a great fish,
Mm-hmm.
in those quotation marks they mention, to swallow Jonah, and he was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. The word fish has been highlighted with single quotes to distinguish the archaic concept of fish from a modern taxonomical definition, a gill-bearing aquatic craniate animal that lacks limbs with digits. Instead, a more ancient concept should be assumed, one that certainly included such animals as dolphins, whales, and other aquatic creatures. Of course, neither of these definitions is correct or incorrect. They are simply based on different cosmologies. Johnny, give us a bam!
Burn!
Yeah.
You check this out. It's just incredible.
Modern taxonomical definitions are grounded in evolutionary science, while ancient bestiaries were answering the question. Here's the quotes. What spiritual truth does this animal embody? The breath of God hovered over the face of the waters. In the verse above, before we go on, I think not only should we look at it like how they're explaining it, but also the letters that it's spelt in Hebrew, because that adds additional meaning.
Oh yeah.
You know? And so there's,
Oh,
like Bernie
yeah.
was telling me the other day, there's 4 ways or 5 ways to look at everything in the Bible, and then there's 70 different interpretations. So there's so many ways to look.
Yeah.
But I think, this is a big one, and the actual Hebrew letters are big too. In the verse above, the one about waters, the concept of water perfectly illustrates the need to recover the meaning of ancient cosmological concepts. Indeed, from a scientific perspective, the definition of water can easily be given as H2O, which is simply its chemical composition. However, this type of definition only answers the questions, what is it made of, and how does it work? These are the only concerns of the materialistic perspective. On the other hand, the biblical concept of water certainly had nothing to do with its chemical composition. Therefore, it would be naive to assume that the concept of water in the Bible necessarily refers to the same substance as its modern counterpart. Instead, it is perfectly conceivable that water, quotes, was synonymous with our current notions of liquid or fluid, which have been much broader definitions. If this were the case, then there would have been many different varieties of water, meaning liquids, in the ancient conception, including blood, wine, urine, milk, mercury, and many other fluids. Does somebody else want to read it? I feel like I'm going
Come on, Bernie.
Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Similarly, from a scientific perspective, a working definition of light would be as follows. Electrical magnetic radiation with a wavelength in the range of 4,000 to 7,700 angstroms. As expected, since physics studies matter and its interactions, this concept has been framed by materialistic parameters. On the other hand, the concept of light was framed by meaning rather than mechanism in ancient cosmology. Hence, there were probably many varieties of light in that context, and not all of them were made of photons. The main point of this example,
camera action.
the main point of this example is to demonstrate the naivety of assuming that ancient words have the same meaning as their modern counterparts. In reality, there are tremendous gaps between ancient and modern definitions, such that every word must be reconstructed within the frame of an archaic cosmology. The distinctions between ancient and current concepts will not always be as clear as the examples provided in this chapter. Therefore, the reader may legitimately doubt the validity of this reconstructed language. However, as will be discovered in the following sections, these words will be entirely derived from the cosmological categories of the Bible: heaven, earth, time, and space, as described in the narrative of creation. In addition, the Bible itself will serve as testing grounds for this reconstructed language, as it is used to interpret its stories, rituals, and laws. For the reader, this will be the ultimate test as to whether this language of creation faithfully recaptures the biblical worldview. If all goes well, formally, cryptic text should begin to make perfect sense, even to the point of becoming self-explanatory.
Oh,
Or self-evident.
That was great.
please explain.
Do you want to explain?
I can,
No, it was a little...
Okay, I think I could explain. I know. So, like in the scripture where it talks about where it talks about the fish, it just meant like a creature that's in the sea.
Right.
It wasn't saying because nowadays we know, a mammal. A whale is a mammal, so it couldn't have been a whale.
Right, mammals did not exist.
Right.
The word mammal was not a word.
Right. So, it's more, it's like super,
Yeah.
it's like simple and right to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's in the sea and it's swimming and it lives there, it's
That
a
was
fish.
a fish.
Yeah.
Right. So instead of all the categories that we have now, because we have microscopes to, let's see, this is Well, you know, like, and
Yeah.
we're like super smart, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for example, light, we think light as photons, right? But for them, light was anything that gave even understanding. And we kind of use that, like, right, when you understand something or you get an idea, you get a light bulb, right? The image you get in cartoons,
Yeah.
a light bulb over your head. Well, to them, consciousness is being in light. It's being enlightened. It's having light just to be conscious.
right.
There's light in the eyes. When you
Yes.
die, there's no light in your eyes, and,
Yeah.
and you're done, right?
I also think, to add on, like in terms of fish, like it also is good to look at kind of these literal things, but mix them with the symbolic view.
Yeah.
So, for example, you have a fish, which is something that's not human. It's like not mammal, it's reptile. So it's kind of something alien, kind of something that's foreign. Or like another example would be like a snake, a snake or fish. These things that embody like depth of the ocean, mysterious, scary, And so that's the symbol. It's trying to bring you to that place, which I think it does to everyone. And some people don't realize that that's what they think of when they think of a fish. But I think subconsciously, and that's why
That's what we know.
a lot of people interpret dreams that way. Where if you dream of a fish or something like that, then it's a lot deeper than you're just thinking of that fish. You know what I mean?
Nice, I like
You
that.
know what I mean?
Yeah, so see how deep it gets? Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's deep.
What's another example, Bernie? They said they gave the water, which is a liquid.
So water,
You know, like
water. How does water function? Especially in the sea, it's always moving. It's not stable, and it's in reference to chaos. It's a field of possibilities. Is another way of looking. It's very
Right.
fluid. It's moving.
yeah.
And so what does Yah do? He hovers over the field of possibility, and from that he extracts, he brings out this order, which is solid land.
The
Solid land is
earth, yeah,
stable,
yeah.
right? And that's how it's the view of what water can be.
That's right.
Bam. Beautiful. See, so all these deeper things that were always there. We just didn't know how to, extract them.
And so then this also, everything that we're going to read, and especially here, is going to bring it out more, but
Yeah.
it's the Bible. What it does, it's talking not only about actual reality,
Yeah.
in like how you see it, but it's talking about the reality of your subconscious, of your conscious, and the relationship of that between your body and like of who Yahuwah is in us. That's why we're given a spirit, a soul, and a body. Those are aspects that that unite the physical world with the spiritual
Right.
that we're inhabiting.
Yes, I just want to clear up in case somebody's wondering about the dream thing I said. Like, if, for example, Joseph interpreting the dreams of the cows
Right,
or
right,
things like
right.
that, and so obviously he's not thinking of cows. The cows represent something bigger.
Yeah,
So just,
yeah.
Just to clear that. up.
Boom. Really, really good explanation, my brother.
And that actually reminded me, like, the four ways of interpreting scripture.
Yes.
There's the Bashat, the Remez, the Drash, and the Sod.
Mm-hmm.
And the Pasha is the literal meaning. So we say fish. Again, the fish doesn't mean it has to be a real fish.
Yeah.
It could be a whale, it could be whatever.
Yeah.
But it is a sea-dwelling animal.
Right.
That actually is real. That actually happened.
Yeah.
But then there's the Remez, which is something hidden. It's a secret, something that's being revealed, hinting at something deeper.
Yeah.
Right, and then there's the Drash, where you start connecting different scriptures to get a bigger understanding of a certain passage.
Yes.
And the
Whoa.
last is the Sod, which is the deepest hidden meaning, the mystery meaning. And they're all valid points, but as long as nothing can outweigh what the Pashat level means.
Oh.
The literal meaning has to be number one, and everything else could play off of the number one meaning.
Incredible. All right, brothers and sisters. Hope you enjoyed chapter 4.